Welcome to week one of the top 25 analysis for NCAA Division II football. There's some big matchups going on across the nation as we get started with the first full week of NCAA Division II football. It's going to be a big one, so stay tuned. I'm going to break down some of the top 25 matchups around NCAA Division II beginning Thursday, September the 5th. Going to be a big day to really kick off the NCAA Division II schedule. I'll come back with that next. One of the big week one matchups to keep your eye on is going to be number 12 Indianapolis at number 20 Ashland. As many of you know, Ashland is a program like Indianapolis that has a really strong tradition. Last year, Ashland was a little bit of a younger team, making some transition from some experienced players that they've had in recent years to a little bit of a younger but very talented team that they had last year during the 2018 season. And so this is going to be a big test for the Eagles right off the bat with Indianapolis coming in, as Indianapolis, as we know, is a very solid, if not very strong, NCAA Division II program that was a former league rival of the Eagles back in the old days of the MIFC and in GLIAC. It was really interesting to see some of those old matchups continue to be rivalries. I'll talk about another one with the Bulldogs hosting the University of Findlay also on September the 5th. But when you look at this Ashland-Indianapolis game, this is going to be a big game because I think a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on Ashland and what they look like in this first game of the season, with still a somewhat young team but gaining experience over last year where they had some tough battles, some that maybe could have really shifted their season in a major way had they been able to pull out a few more of those close victories over some ranked opponents. So keep your eye on that matchup. Because that should be a good one with tremendous regional implications kicking off the season in week one that could carry all the way through to the end of the season. Another key matchup nationally is going to be the Bulldogs, Ferris State, at number 2 in the nation in many polls, hosting the University of Findlay. Now, this has been a good regional matchup, longtime rivals going back to the old GLIAC days and going back even farther than that. And so this should be a really good matchup for the Bulldogs coming in after being the National Division II runner-up, playing for the national championship last year, losing to Valdosta State narrowly by 2 points. And so a lot of expectations on the Bulldogs coming into this matchup, and they're expecting a pretty good crowd at Top Taggart Field on Thursday afternoon. So look for the Bulldogs to see if they can get the gas pedal down early and hopefully put some big points up on the scoreboard. Again, expectations are going to be very high for the Bulldogs, but they certainly cannot sleep on a very good Findlay team that's going to be coming to Big Rapids looking to spring the upset. Another big matchup to keep your eye on, and maybe one of the biggest matchups of the first week, notwithstanding the one that we just talked about a little bit earlier with Indianapolis and Ashland, that's going to be number 16 Harding visiting number 4 Ouachita Baptist, the Battle of Arkansas, and that should be a great matchup between those two rivals for supremacy in their conference. And that's a huge matchup right off the bat between two teams that are traditionally in the playoffs and looking to advance in the playoffs. And so that's going to be a big matchup that I think a lot of people nationally are going to be keeping their eyes on. And when you look at some of the regional matchups that could transpire, that's certainly one that could have major implications from week one all the way through to the end of the regular season and going into that first round of the playoffs. So those are some of the big matchups that we want to keep your eyes on as we look forward to September the 5th and really kicking off the NCAA Division II football schedule. It's going to be some big matchups there. Of course, I'm going to be at Top Taggart Field on the radio calling the Bulldog football game with Rob Bentley as the Bulldogs take on the University of Findlay Oilers. Should be a great matchup. It's always been some good matchups traditionally between the Bulldogs and the Oilers. And so it should be another good one. Looking forward to what should be a good crowd at Top Taggart Field and really just getting the football season going. It's so fun. Had a chance to go to some early practices for the Bulldogs throughout the preseason, including the first one as the new turf was really broken in by the Bulldog football team for that first practice, and the field looks great. Nice upgrade to the stadium. I think it's going to be something that will be a little bit eye-appealing, I think, to fans that are watching, but I think the players especially will appreciate the new surface at Top Taggart Field. So should be a great night, blues and barbecue event before the game. Should add to the tailgate atmosphere. So come on out and support the Bulldogs if you're going to be there. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one, obviously, because I'm going to be there calling it on the radio. But it's also going to be fun to scoreboard watch for some of those big regional and national matchups that are taking place in week one.